Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unconventional GMs, the channel where we play one-shot ttrpgs with pace, vim, and vigor. And we're back to the 1990s today in Free League's new game, Electric State, freshly arrived on our doorsteps from Kickstarter. Some of us, at least, many of us, I think. The year is 1997, 13 years after the Civil War ended. America has been ruptured into various states and really is a blissed-out wasteland where most of its inhabitants spend most of their time in a VR world, the electric state. Neurocaster helmets are what they use to access it, and it's a weird sort of second life that's much better than the hard Scrabble existence they would have now. But it's so addictive that many people have got lost in it. Most people are content to live out their lives blissed out, not doing very much, just getting sorted. But our travelers that we're going to meet now have decided they've had enough of this. They've got a mission to go on, so they've banded together from their various backgrounds, climbed inside an old Buick, and decided to go on a massive road trip across Pacifica, old California, to try and get to the Black Welt exclusion zone for various different reasons. But along the way, as you'd expect, it's not going to go easily. They're going to meet a variety of different challenges. So let's meet our players and let's meet our travelers as well. Starting with Gaz. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hi everyone, I'm Gaz. I'm one half Unconventional GM, one half What Would the Spawn Party Do co-host as well, but I'm all gamer. So tonight I am playing Pascal, who is sort of a high skill dropout, or not so much a dropout as a runaway. Pascal likes books, or likes creating things probably more than human connections, and he's trying to break away from the addictive drug and experience that is the electric state. Really, his mission is just to get away and start a new life. But his old neurine dealer, the drug that a lot of people use, the dealer's back in town and wants a word with him. So he's going to have to deal with that before he can make good his escape and maybe determine if he's right about people being a problem, or maybe perhaps he's wrong. Maybe everything isn't all in books. Maybe human interaction is where it's at.
Let's see. I'm sure that driving away to the Black Welt exclusion zone, your old neurone dealer, Carlos, won't notice that you've gone or follow you or like work out where you're going and catch up with you at some point, will they? That's definitely going to happen. Brilliant. Secondly, let's meet Tasha.
Hi, I'm Tasha. I'm co-founder of Ukrainian actual play channel Idea Roll, and today I'm here playing Frances. Frances is in her 30s. She's an ex-US Marine, joined in 18, never looked back. She's participated in a civil war on the side of a country that lost, which makes her life even more miserable than you might have believed. She's seen some horrible things. She did some horrible things at the war, so it influenced her a lot, and you can definitely see it on her face and general on the way she handles herself. And speaking of our journey, recently she picked up, or well, I mean, she thinks she picked up. It might have, maybe not, but some radio transmissions from old bodies from brothers in arms, and she's pretty confident that some of them are out there in the exclusion zone, and this old bond, this old connections from old war times are dragging her there to find them, to find this old lost friendship, and to maybe have a new beginning.
Lovely. Let's see if she finds it.
Yeah, well, she might experience some problems as her ex is not very excited of her living town. This might be a problem, but I mean, we'll figure it out.
I'm sure likewise after Carlos's like pickup pulls out, I think there's like a family sedan reverses out past as well, as they all know where you're going to do it. Fantastic. Let's see. Right, let's meet John now. Who are you playing?
Hello, I'm John, and I'm going to be playing William this evening. William's about 16 now, and he's a runaway as well. He ran away from the Pacifica orphanage system when he was about 12. he ended up in the orphanage system because his parents ended up addicted, as we were talking earlier on about addicted to the electric state with their Neurocasters and couldn't look after him anymore. But deep down, he doesn't think they're really his parents, or at least it's not his dad. He's got an envelope with him with some old Polaroids in, and he's got photos of his uncle Evan, I think it is, and there's photos of him, and there's clues in the background that point to him being over in the Blackwell exclusion zone. And so he's been on the road for quite a while now, trying to get there and try and find his uncle, who he actually thinks might actually be his dad.
Fantastic. So Evan, the kid. And finally, Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian McAllister. I'm a tabletop games writer, critic, and reviewer. I have a site called The Giant Brain where you can check out all my work. And tonight I am playing Cade, sort of dropout guitarist, was the lead singer of Bliss, obviously, not the other guy, not Kevin, that guy that you've seen in the Electric State on MTV. That guy's not the real lead singer of Bliss. I was the original.
Actually, I think there's a picture of him here.
Yeah, not that guy. I'm the original lead singer. And obviously, like, what I need to do is like get back on top, get off the neurine that I've been on, and like put on a really good show to like show the world who I truly am. So let's head to Vegas. Obviously the place to put on a big show. Now, I've had this idea before, tried to put on a show out west, borrowed some money from some people that kind of want it back. But, maybe if I just, leave, they'll forget about it and everything will be fine.
Fantastic. I'm sure. As everyone knows, Vegas is a great place to go and get clean as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing untoward ever happens in
Head
Vegas.
To Vegas. That's definitely going to be the place.
What's that saying? What happens in Vegas is always lovely and nice.
Yeah. Always calm and chill. Should say, just on that note, there's a bit of sort of content warnings. There's a bit of drug content here, a bit of like family trauma. We've all played together before. We all know each other. We have got an X card sort of on the table. Obviously, we're recording. If somebody triggers it, we'll probably edit that out and not leave it in, and we'll come back. But play with safety tools. This is like a lot of Free Leagues games, like Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood. This can come across as quite a light-hearted game, but because the darkness in it and the some of the content can be quite close to home if you ever lived in the 90s. It's always worth playing with some like things like that. So we've got that on the table. We'll all keep safe, and obviously keep safe, viewers, as you're watching it. So without further ado, I've got one question for you that I think I know the answer to, but I'd like to just check, because you're all crammed in this big American Buick. I say American because it's that we all need to remember that American cars are much bigger than anything we're used to. So it's probably quite roomy for just four of you in it. The question is, who's driving? I have a bit of an idea that it might well be, having listened to all your backgrounds, I suspect that it's unlikely Francis is going to let anyone else drive. Is that the case, Tasha, do we think?
Yeah, Francis feels very strongly obliged to drive, at least while we're out of town, for minimum. Preferably further too, but at some point I guess I would need to sleep.
Yeah. Well, people keep offering, but you seem to claim that it's fine.
I'm fine.
He didn't. He's just in the back, coming away.
Yeah.
William's probably getting on your nerves. He's head out the window like a dog. Kind of like.
Excellent. So you've made good time. You've been sort of camping by the side of the road and finding like motels and stuff, staying. You don't have a huge amount of money, but you've got a little bit. And America being what it is, there's often like abandoned houses that here and there that you can find tin food in and so on. And you begin. Our sort of camera opens somewhere around Stockton, near the Central Valley. You've been traveling for a few days and got to know each other a little bit as travelers on the road. Started to think about whether your choices to leave and go to Blackwell is a good idea or not. Probably consider that. And you're cutting through the roads through one sort of huge suburb around Stockton. It's not clear, based on the sort of road maps you've been following, exactly where you are. You've got a vague instance you need to go east, but it's the sun's just going down, the street lights have just started coming on, and it's starting to look to a point where you probably need to find somewhere to sort of bed down for the night, and just take it easy from there. You've got a dim evening night. There's just a red setting sun behind the Sierra Nevada mountains, and two things happen in very quick succession. The first thing is that your street lights that have just come on around you suddenly, in a sort of row from in front of you, just one by one dip and go off and dead. And as they approach you, just as it goes dim next to you, you hear the sort of bang of a tire blowing, and the whole car sort of just goes dead, and you're spinning round, trying to avoid going into the side of the road or the buildings that are lining this path. Tasha, I'm going to go to you for the first dice roll of the game, because your car is now out of control. Would you like to make me an agility roll? You're going to get +2 for your Buick's basically maneuverability.
That is going to be a lot of dice. I've got agility of 6.
Okay.
Let's see if I get any successes.
So you get 2 extra dice as well. Let's see.
Oh yes, it's 3 successes. I'm so good in it.
Okay, that is brilliant. I'm glad you're using up all your luck now before we have real danger later on. So
classy.
Yeah, you start to skid, but you sort of manage.
I've got it.
You avoid carefully. There's a couple of sort of abandoned cars, parked up cars nearby, and you're able to sort of spin it and almost land it in a sort of parking spot by the side of the road. As you do, though, you know the engine's dead completely now, and as you turn the ignition, just nothing is happening from there. You find yourself. You should have the map should have appeared on your Roll20 screen now. There's a little sign that you just have driven past that just gives sort of that just names this place as Littleville. Nobody about. You can see a few buildings here and there. Some look abandoned, some look open. As I say, it's just getting dark. It's evening now, and so there's a few retail shops. You can just see there's the nearest house to you has just got a sort of desiccated body in it, still wearing a Eurocaster, looking like this suburb has been. Some of its inhabitants have been abandoned for some time. So what do? You temporarily can't get the car to move. I'm going to just, because we're playing online, I'll just trigger a few people, direct it so we know who's responding, so we don't all shout at once. Maybe go to Pascal now. What's Pascal's first response, guys?
Immediately, he's sort of like glowering from the back seat at Francis, and the camera sort of swings around so you can see his great American novel that he's writing, and there's now just like a big pen mark all over the pages where but then he sort of like recognizes that there's a problem. The car's not starting, and it just kind of looks around nervously at first, and then works up the courage to kind of speak to people almost. But what do we do now? Where do we go? What should we do? I'm probably looking at Frances because she's from the military and takes action normally.
Since we've been together for some time, some of you might have noticed that Francis is actually not super great in taking decisions for the group. But so I'm trying to just cover it with loud words like, "We're gonna be fine. Are you all fine, kiddo? I told you, Willie, to not stick your head so much out of the window. Are you okay? Anybody hurt?"
I'm good. Car's got a couple more dents in it, but that doesn't really matter. And calm down, Pascal. It'll be fine. There'll be a garage here, right? Somewhere. Just needs a bit of a kickstart, right?
There's a dead person over there. What if they're all dead? What if this is a village of the dead?
Well, if they're dead, they're not going to bother us, are they?
They won't need their cars.
We're not going to get the car fixed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It doesn't. I'm sure. Francis, you know how to fix a car, right? You're in the military. Got some experience that way? Surely. Might be able to drag something out of my memory somewhere. Yeah.
I wasn't a drone pilot or something, but I'll have a look. We can camp overnight. We can stay in some of these lovely houses over there, having a roof over our head.
There's a burger place over there. Maybe they've got like a lot of fries or something we can have.
The auto parts place. They might have they might have bits for the car that says William not really understanding how to fix a car.
I mean, I've done a little bit in the past, on the road with the band, but yeah, I could maybe take a look if we can get over there.
Okay, so as you sort of investigate, there's probably sounds like some people want to look at the car and just see what's going on with it and see how repairable it might be. And some people trying to sort of get their bearings. Like you've seen the map, but it doesn't really tell you. Some of those are signs outside. There are all those things. If someone wants to sort of get their bearings and get an idea of where you are and what options you might have, somebody could do that as well. Start maybe with the car, I guess. Who's going to look at the engine and see what's going on? I can't.
I'll take a
Yeah?
I'll take a look. Yeah,
Go for it. Give me a wits roll, Cade, as you
Wits.
sort of pop the bonnet and start
Okay.
looking in and
Sure.
seeing what you can from it.
4 dice. A success.
Oh, fantastic. Normally in this game, you only need one success to work it. What you can find with that is your battery is completely dead. You've probably got something that you've used on an amp or something to
Yeah.
test it. The source of it is everything else looks fine, but there's absolutely dead. You look around, you notice actually the street lamps haven't come back on either.
Our battery just seems to have died out of nowhere. So if we can give it a jump start, and should be good. Maybe a big hill or maybe that garage.
Do we see any lights around us?
No.
Apart from
So as you get your bearings around it, you can see that the things that you can see on your map. There are lights on in sort of a few houses from here. The food and liquor store has lights on. The burger box, the diner has lights on. And you can see some lights from the auto parts and hardware store, which is pretty near as well. A lot of the other locations, you can't really see anything on. If you want to explore a bit further, you can see a bit further in and get more of an idea of where things are.
Jade's digging around in the boot and he goes, aha, found them. Like, jumper cables. We just need some mains power. But just whichever place is lit up. Let's go there.
oh,
Well, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some food.
Well,
But
that
that
food and liquor store's got its lights on. We go there.
Food,
We get a
why do we
drink.
go to a burger joint? Well, I
Well,
can get
it's
hot
on-
food.
It's on the way. I mean,
I know what you're like. You want a packet of crisps and a bottle of bourbon. That's not an evening meal.
sounds good to me.
I like that we might split the party over choice of food to eat. Nice.
Well, at least we've got a reason this time rather than just doing it anyway.
Excellent.
Yeah. Get me some hot food, kid, if you can. That'd be great. But I'll someone tell
Yeah,
me
we could-
push the car over to the liquor store.
William will
We could
climb out the
have-
window and kind of climb on the window and climb onto the roof of the car and demonstratively kind of like peer through the evening haze at the book. See if you can see anybody in those places from our vantage point.
That's a good chat. Yeah. Do you want to, John? Do you want to give us a wits roll just to see what you can see? If you
Yeah,
can,
so
a little perception
got-
check.
I've got wits 4. That's 4 dice, isn't it? Then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a go. He's not looking in the right direction. Clearly, I get no successes.
Yeah.
are you
a few-
distracted by a dead body?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
few places that have lights on, but beyond that, you can't really see any further. I mean, if you got down and walked a little bit further on, I'm assuming you've sort of come in around where I've just pinged, just near to the liquor store. Further on, you can't really make out what's happening in those sort of communities there. From there, I will give you for free that this Dollar General Market looks very obviously like it's not been open for years.
Okay.
It's like there's a fence that's locked and so on, and the whole thing is locked up. There might still be some useful stuff in there, but it's all been locked down from that. So what's the plan? Is it there is a food and liquor store, there is a burger joint, there's an auto parts store, there's lots of homes. Lots of them seem to be abandoned. There's the odd one with lights on, or they're sort of exploring a bit further.
Well, the food and liquor store had lights on, right? So I'm going to go there for power with the car, especially if we're nearby to it, rather than having to like push the car around town.
Yeah.
I like the sound of a burger.
I'll help you.
Cheers,
I'll
Francis.
help to push the car.
Okay, so I think we've got Francis and Cade going to the liquor store, and we've got William and Pascal going to the burger joint. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we walk past the auto parts place on the way, maybe, so we can it's something we can do in the vicinity, but our main goal is to see what burger and fries options there are.
Yeah, that sounds like a good move. So let's go to the liquor store first, because that's probably the first place you'll get there. So Francis and Kate, as you walk in the liquor store, you can see it's got a sort of loose amount of stock. There's not an awful lot on the shelves here, but there's a bit of canned goods and so on. There's not actually a huge amount of liquor. It doesn't. I think this is the kind of thing where you might often see around America, like lots of people, drinking, getting on urine and stuff. There's not that much there either from it. Behind the counter, you can see there's a proprietor there, Ramona Lopez. You don't know her name yet, but you will, because it's appeared on Roll20. And she looks, she's got a cigarette. She looks completely like she's been behind the counter of this liquor store for pretty much her entire life. And you notice as you walk in, as the sort of bell rings, a sort of hand almost instinctively goes sort of under the counter as she eyes you suspiciously as you walk in.
Evening, ma'am.
Evening.
We've run into a little car trouble, and we were hoping maybe we could borrow a little power to jumpstart our battery. That's all we need. Happy to pay a little for it, of course.
Says, yeah, that sometimes happens. The electricity is a bit dodgy around here. It doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we were driving along quite the thing, and just then our battery went dead. Damnedest thing.
Oh, how unusual. Just went dead like that.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Very strange.
Along with all of the streetlights.
Yeah, like I said, the power grid's a bit dodgy around here.
Yeah, we've driven through a few couple of places where it's not great.
It's been like that for a while.
Yeah, but could we borrow a little power? Hook up to your mains briefly, get the battery jump started? Really appreciate it.
I don't know about that. I don't. I need to make sure that nothing goes out on mine. Where are you guys from anyway?
We're
around here.
We're from all over the place to the west, and just all traveling towards the BZ.
Right, and this is the first time you've been in Littleville?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I toured around a little bit when I was younger. I might have come through here, played a gig or two. I don't remember, to be honest. Hedonistic days.
And she looks to one side and says, "You would be, would you be good Christian people by any chance?"
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ian, can you make me an empathy roll?
Sure. That's empathy of 6. That probably means it's about to go terribly wrong.
Yeah, it's too high, that dice pool.
Hey, Jesus.
Actually. Your yes.
I pull out a little like St. Christopher cross that I've got.
Yeah. Well, you notice that she her face noticeably darkens and says, and she says, "Well, I'm sure Father Marcos can help you out with that. Just head to the church down the way. You'll have heard of it, I'm sure."
I can't say I have. Place of note?
Oh, it's the big community thing right here, but you'll already know that, good Christian people. Anyway, I was just locking up.
Even ma'am? That was a bit strange.
A bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the burger joint then. So, actually, as you go past, you were going past the auto parts thing, weren't you, on your way?
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you can see there's a couple of guys. There's a couple of guys sort of working in it. They look to be on the sort of end of the shift, sort of mopping up and about to lock up, really. So do you want to stop in there or head to the burger joint first, or what's your?
We could split up again.
Brilliant. Yes,
even more and more and more. No.
I'm in favour of that, obviously.
Should we just go and have a word before we go and get that burger, or do we think that they might run out of shakes if we leave it too long?
The burger joint doesn't seem to be doing a roaring trade here. Doesn't look to be like there's not a queue out around the block for it.
Let's just see when they're going to be open in the morning, so maybe we can come back then. And do that. So yeah, we'll shuffle over.
Okay, so you notice there's a sort of solid-looking man working there, in his overalls, who, as you approach, he sort of looks over and says, hi, sorry guys, I was just locking up. Can I help you guys? You from out of town?
Yeah, William, he's got I think William's got a lumberjack type hat with the kind of the ear flaps on. He'll take that off and kind of like sort it out and go and instantly go into innocent mode and go, gee, mister, yeah, if you could, we rode down and we were wondering if you're going to be closing out, are you open in the morning? You could possibly help us out.
It says, oh yeah, we're open in the morning. Yeah, sure. What seems to be the problem? Just broken down as you drove into Littleville?
Well, yeah, I mean, the battery seems to be. Does William? We established that before I left, didn't we? Yeah. The battery seems to be dead. Yeah. So I mean, if however you fix those kind of things, says William, not pretending to like.
He says, oh yeah, we've had it before. We get like power surges and stuff. He sort of glances down the street and says, oh, I don't have any in. I might be able to get some in a couple of days though. It's tricky. The power grid around here is a bit dodgy. It's hard, but look, it's a really friendly neighborhood. I'm sure you'll find like somewhere to stay and things. We need to stick together, really, don't we? In a town like this, good, offer shelter to weary travelers like yourselves. And he puts out a hand, says, "My name's Jimmy, by the way," and like leans down to get this big mechanic's hand and shakes your hand.
I'm William, mister. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, and and he goes to shake your hand, Gaz, as well.
Don't. Germs, I don't shake hands. I'll be wiping my palms on my shirt front.
He says, yeah. I mean, you'll be able to get some of the best burgers. Well, it is the best burgers in Littleville down there. Get those.
It's the only burgers in Littleville.
We'll be open in the morning. I'll take a look at it and see what I can do. It's tricky. The power grid around here is pretty dodgy, but I can get a battery in a few times. Hey, there's not a lot to do around here in an evening, but you guys should come down to the church. There's a service this evening. Be nice to sort of hang out and get there. He's a real guy, the Reverend. You'll like it there.
Okay. We'll grab a bite to eat first, though.
Yeah. Always happy to help out travelers in need.
Thanks so much.
And as we're kind of walking off towards the burger joint, what does he mean he's a real guy, the Reverend? Like what? The churches normally have unreal guys. What's that about? They have VR priests?
I don't know.
This is a bit weird. Do we have to go to church?
I don't want to particularly. I'm just kind of. I mean, we can maybe go and have a look, but not go in. Or maybe let's get a burger first and think about it.
Yeah, maybe we can send the other two. They should go to church. We can, maybe get dessert.
Okay, yeah. And I think probably as luck would have it, because your trip to the liquor store ended up being so brief. You could probably all go to the burger joint together. I think and get some food. You think get it? That seems to be a reasonable thing to be doing. In the burger joint, this is where I need to actually reveal the person who's doing it. God, sorry, let me faff around with Roll20 briefly to get this. Sorry, right. So you go to the burger joint and you can. There's not really a couple of people sort of hanging around who, as you come in, there's sort of looks they're just finishing off and leave. But the proprietor, sort of middle-aged woman, greets you warmly and says, "Oh, hi, you'd be looking for some food. It's simple fare here, but we serve the best burgers in Littleville."
Really?
Yeah, I would have some of those.
Excellent. I'm glad that you'd want us to come there. And in fact, her picture has just appeared on Roll20 because I worked out how to do it. Yeah, I'm Daisy. What do you want? We'll not do that role-playing bit where you all choose what food you're having and it gets delivered. You all get like burgers and shakes and whatever.
Yeah.
It's all quite nice. And she, as she comes over and takes food, she says, "So, what's your business here in town? We don't get
I'm just
all that many visitors." Just passing by. Oh, where are you heading to? Where are you heading to?
Just west a little bit more. Towards BEZ.
Okay. Are you staying in Littleville tonight?
Yeah, we are. Had a little car trouble, so we'll stay overnight.
Oh, car trouble. Power grid really bad. We know it's. You should stop anyway. Hey, you guys should come to the church. There's not much to do in the evening, but it's what most of us do. It's good to do it. You'll meet lots of the congregation there. They'll be sure to help. Somebody might be able to put you up. They might have a spare room or a barn you can sleep in or something.
That'd be very generous. So, what denomination is the church?
Oh, just Catholic, of course, but it's a very broad church. We're always welcoming to anyone to come along. I'm sure you won't be disappointed if you come along. Father Marcos is a really inspiring man. I don't know what we do in this community if we didn't have our faith.
Sounds good. We've heard about it from several people already, so I can tell your community is really close.
Yeah.
Strong bonds.
Yeah, everyone's really, really close. Do you want to? I'm trying to think. Probably Pascal or William. If you guys want to make an empathy check, because you weren't really saying anything, so you were probably listening and saying what's. That's probably how we'll do it.
Eating Pacifica fries. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Guys, do you want to roll as well, just to see if you can
empathy?
No. I'll do something else actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Whilst she's busy talking with them, I'm going to go to the restroom. Spoilers, I'm not going to the restroom. I'm going to look about and see if I can work out where like the breakers are, either the fuse box or anything else. See if there's some reason why this place has still got its lights on, where everything else is still cut out.
That'd be good. That'll be a wits roll if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
Should I do an empathy roll because I'm staying where I am?
Yeah, you make your empathy roll. See if you can notice anything about her.
Okay.
1 success.
Cool.
So, Pascal, there's nothing. I mean, you've seen these like when you're growing up and stuff. There's nothing out of the ordinary at all. There doesn't seem to be any. Like there's no fancy new cables or anything. There doesn't seem to be anything that would indicate this place is protected. It looks like it's just a normal sort of place. It's not easy to see why the lights would be on here, but maybe aren't in the street lights and stuff. There's not an obvious link to it, like this is on a different circuit or something. There's nothing from there. Yeah, John, your success. You noticed when there was just a flicker of doubt that crossed her eyes when she sort of talked about how tight the community was, as if there's maybe something on her mind, that she's not hugely sure about it. But she says, anyway, I'll leave it up to you. If you want to come to church, it's just down the way. Service starts in half an hour. You'll meet the guys in a little bit. We're always welcoming to travelers there. And with that, she sort of leaves you with your order. And Pascal, you can return back. I'm assuming you're in a booth that's like as far away from her hearing you as possible. So feel free. You can speak freely and come up with your plan of action from now.
Something's not right. It's like the way she was talking about the church then. There's something's not right. It's like she didn't quite believe what she was saying or something. I don't know. She's not telling the whole truth. Something about this church feels weird.
One thing I can tell they're all a close community and they're standing up for one another. This is what we should do for the four of us. I do not trust a single person in this town. All of them mentioned that the power grid in here is weird, but I mean, how does the power grid affect the battery in a moving car? I'm no
No
electrician,
idea.
but... And all of them, instead of just at least trying to give us a jump start, are inviting us to the church.
The guy in the auto shop was saying like it's going to take a couple of years to get a new battery.
feel like
You just charge the battery, right?
Are they?
That's my understanding anyway. That's sort of what I've done on the road before now. Should be easy enough. I can do it.
It feels like they're trying to keep us here.
So I just say there is one thing that you can do to sort of explore the immediate vicinity before in the half hour before church starts and we can decide what to do. Then you can Eurocast, so you can go and see what the Pacifica network is in this region and sort of search for information in that if you want to. And actually, like popping on a helmet even after you finish your burger wouldn't be unheard of. You know, people would do it. People wander around and eat their burgers while they're still in the scope. So if anyone is fancying that, that's an option.
It'll dive
That's
in.
a fun thing to do. Also, before you do that, I'll stress that we're not splitting up. I mean, you always have to have at least someone with you. At least 2 people are going somewhere, not 1, ever.
Agreed.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I'm continuing with my phrase. I made a point.
Okay, so Kate, you've got a quick moment to Neurocast in.
I'll go do a Google search.
Yeah.
Which for some reason involves a massive helmet.
So they are like big plastic helmets. You sort of fit it in and put it in, and you upload it to. I think for me, you get like the zoning into it. You get that modem sound. It's 1997, so you get the sort of screeching and stuff before you get over your eyes. You get like a sort of, you're still vaguely aware of the diner and where you are, but you enter the local network of where you are, and you can go and wander around and stuff. So what you notice as you go in there, it's a lot brighter and sort of sparkier than it is. As you look around, Littleville is like a sort of thriving suburb. There are sort of holograms of people walking around. You can tell that they're just animations that have been put on there. But for the washed up town that you found yourself in, which is even more washed up and abandoned than most of the other places that you've driven through, actually the Neuroscape here is really, really strong. And as you look around, you can see it's really polished. There is almost as well, the centerpiece is that church. It's got a real sort of shine to it. Do you want to roll me? And this is an option for you because there is a risk whenever you make a roll in Neuroscape to get bliss. If you want to try and find out a reason for this or sort of investigate a bit more, sure. You can roll a find information check, which is wits, and you get to add your processor bonus, which I think for you, because you've got a Johnny Jolt theme Neurocaster, is +1. So you've got a gaming Neurocaster, so it's not so good. It's not so good at the Google searching, but it's quite good for like combat in Neuroscapes and stuff because that's what it's designed for. So wits +1.
Cool. No successes, a bunch of 2s.
Fantastic. Okay, so as you
is there any push mechanism or luck or something?
It's funny you should say that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about pushing.
So that's quite 5-2. That's a bit spooky, isn't it? So you can push whenever you fail a roll in the when you're Neurocasting, you gain 1 point of bliss.
Okay.
And that's whether you push it or not. So you're gaining a point of bliss at the moment. If that ever equals your hope, then you're potentially can't leave the electric state unless other people pull you out. But you can push. All that happens after you push, you roll all your dice that aren't 1 or 6. Any 6s are successes, any 1s, you'll lose a point of hope.
Okay, so let's do it. So 5 dice again.
Go for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll stop there.
Entirely middling.
Hubris.
Yeah, you search around and it's bright and airy. You can't find any sort of source of what this might be. It just looks like a really well-maintained new escape. Really,
Is that unusual?
It is in this kind of place.
Yeah.
You might find it in cities and so on, and areas where like a community is really sort of banded together, or in areas where people are able to like support themselves and have really high quality neurocasters. But it's unusual for a place like this, definitely. And that's probably all you're going to find out as well, just because you've done it. You've pushed it already from there.
I'll pop back out.
Yeah,
it's a bit. Yeah, it's a very vibrant neuroscape here. For some reason, something like you find in a big city is unusual in a little town like this.
And especially if their power grid.
The church seemed to be a focus of the area, but for what reason I couldn't tell.
I mean, maybe the thing's power keeps going out everywhere else because they're powering the grid to a high degree or something. Or
maybe, yeah.
Are we going to go to this church and maybe just hang out to the back? I'm a bit nervous about going in amongst a lot of people and being the center of attention. I think we should just go like in the back and see what happens.
Yeah. I agree, Pascal.
Yeah, back of the hall, just kind of get a lay of the land, as it were.
Not draw attention to ourselves.
Okay.
Well,
Francis has doubts, I can tell.
The whole town by now knows that we've got car problems and we cannot leave and we've been invited.
That's true.
You think we can really hang out in the back without drawing attention? People will be waiting for us.
I mean, I'm not saying hide. I'm just saying don't get in the middle of them all, like sit near the exit,
We go down there and there's a big wicker man outside. I'm not going in.
Like a big wicker man that made out of electrical wire.
Yes, like a wall.
That's an imaginative idea.
Okay,
let's hope that's not the case.
Okay. Well, I feel that, we should go and see what it's all about, shouldn't we, I guess?
I agree.
Yeah.
Do we plan on, if things go, if we don't like the look of it, we don't leave anybody in there, though. If somebody wants to leave, we all stick together, whatever happens in that church.
We all stick together. No one's left behind.
Yeah. Worst case, there is a little auto shop just down the way. Maybe we could jack a car and get out of here.
Yeah,
if I run off, thinking of too.
Yeah.
If I run off, someone's got to come with me because we can't split up.
Just keep running off, so everyone has to.
Like not everyone, but someone has to go with me. That's what Francis said.
Well done, kiddo. You're listening, I can tell.
Francis's reaction when you said that, and then Cade immediately goes off into the neuroscape on his own as well. Lovely. So it sounds like we're going to go to the church, but try and keep a low profile, although we're aware that might be tricky as outsiders from it. As it is, though, you can see people are filing towards the church as it speaks, and as you sort of gingerly make your way towards the Church of the Angels, which is on the map there. What's unusual about it is that it doesn't seem to be, for all this sort of community centre that it was presented as, it's just a sort of a low single-storey wooden building. There's a little sign at the side that says Church of the Angels, a large parking lot. Nobody's really parked in it. People seem to be walking into it, and a sort of large ash tree that towers over it. As you sort of make your way in, you can see that there's pretty simple congregational hall. You can see there's an altar at one side and a little lectern. It's not really got any fancy trimmings of that you might expect in a more well-to-do Catholic church. From that, there's obviously a cross and there's a few sort of bits of religious paraphernalia at the front, but it's simple wooden chairs. As you sort of enter the building, I think you will see that like Daisy is there. There's like 30 or 40 people coming in, and people are coming in with you as well. And you try and hang back by the back. Daisy is there. Jimmy is there. Ramona is the only person you've met who is not there. as it stands. The thing that's unusual about it that you immediately notice is that next to each of the wooden chairs, sort of under it and wired in to sort of jury-rigged extension leads, is a Neurocaster. So every chair has a Neurocaster onto it.
Okay.
Assuming you're coming in sort of sitting at the back, trying to hope to do it. Well, before long, Father Marcos appears and welcomes the congregation warmly and begins to give his sermon. I won't recite it verbatim. It is there's a Bible reading. There's what he thinks about it. I don't know. I'm trying to think if any of you been to church before. Do you think? Or any of you? I think maybe in the military you might have had to go to service.
I'm pretty sure Francis has.
Yeah.
There are no atheists in the trenches. I think she now has some falling out with the church and religion. Maybe she's struggling for quite some time now, but she's definitely been to church sermons.
You've got to have faith, haven't you? Yeah, in that thing. Do you want to make me just a wits roll? Because I'm imagining you're listening quite skeptically to his. I'm
listening very eagerly. I'm very interested. Yeah. What is happening? Wits, you say?
Wits. Yeah. See if you can interpret his sermon.
Nope.
Yeah, you've heard this thing a million times before. Does anyone else think they might have been to church in their life?
William was in the Pacific orphanage system, and I kind of feel that there would be structure there, and there would probably be church there as well. So
I imagine, that you probably had a lot of readings and well-meaning pastors speaking to you. That makes sense. Do you want to make a roll as well?
Yeah, Kate got his musical start and doing sort of Christian music and that kind of thing, forced into it by his parents, basically.
Turns out everyone is a good Christian, as it turns out.
Or a bad Christian in my case.
Yeah.
Was that wits, did you say?
Yeah, wits for William.
Shall I roll that as well?
Yeah, you can both roll and see. Forget that.
Yes. I wasn't paying attention in the Pacific orphanage system, clearly.
No. Well, his sermon continues. There's not much to it until they reach the point where he says, and so, if you'd like to join me and see, join me in praising the angels. And he sort of gestures to the congregation, and you see everybody leans below their chair and puts a Neurocaster on. Very pointedly in front of you, Jimmy is turning around just as he's putting his on. He's just waiting and seeing if you guys are going to put the Neurocaster on as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pascal's quite excited because he was trying to work out if it was, going to be 4 parts to put the thing on, because he's not very religious and was quite
hoping
bored.
You can just play.
But now everybody else is doing it. It's great. Go into the Neurocaster.
Okay, you put the. Well, let's just establish who's doing it. Pascal's got it on.
Kate will go in with him.
Go for it.
I'll stay and watch over their bodies.
Francis
while they're wandering in the electric state.
Yeah. William?
William will go in, I think. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So as you put it in, as Cade discovered, this is suddenly a bright, vibrant church, and you notice that stood next to Father Marcos is a huge and magnificent golden angel, holding a fiery sword, got wings behind him with eyes on them. You maybe have something. This is a vision of some sort of angel that you've seen, and it speaks words that you cannot understand, but as it says them, the congregation, all in the Neuroscape with you, begins speaking back to it in tongues as well. What happens when you witness something scary or moving or mind-blowing in the Neuroscape is you potentially get bliss. It's not like a fear response, but it's like, this is, your senses are open and this is much more vibrant than anything you've seen in the real world. So you're potentially going to gain a point of bliss here. How it works is you need to roll, I think, a wits check to try and resist it. So Francis, you just hear, you don't see any of this. you just hear everyone start sort of mumbling and saying like weird speaking in tongues, and possibly some of your friends as well, depending on how they roll.
See, Williams, one of his, sorry, I guess one of Williams' dreams is to belong, you see, so he's kind of like thinking this is great.
Yeah. So gain a point of bliss, and you begin sort of mouthing some responses with everyone else before you know it.
Yeah, you can just see Pascal mouthing WTF.
Yeah, catching Cade's eye.
Yeah.
What is this?
What's going on?
And you can see this angel is there. Cade and Pascal, as this is happening, I'd like you guys to both make a wits check. Francis, there's something you can notice as well. If you roll a wits check as well, please. And I'll try and pass who's rolling what on the thing.
I've got 0 successes. I'm more focused on what is happening outside because I'm worried it might be, I don't know, if somebody enters the church and I do not know, try to rob us while we're unaware or something. So I'm like looking around.
Yeah. You're not looking at the altar and where the Gaz and Kate, about 4 successes between you. Absolutely fine. This angel, like, is more than just a piece of code. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like something that's just been placed in here. This is some sort of entity. And with those 2 successes from each of you, I think you've heard of these things that can develop almost like viruses in the electric state and develop rudimentary intelligence, and try and feed off energy and emotions in there. And this is somewhere in here. And as you sort of come to that realization and like mouthing to each other, it sort of fades, and you see the rest of the congregation just taking their helmets off, and the sermon is over. Go on, Kaz.
I was going to say, can I keep my helmet on a bit longer and try and, for want of a better word, investigate, like see if I can see any trails as to where it went, or a digital imprint left behind, or some of the stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to let it roll the 2 successes that you got on there. So you're a bit limited because at some point you're going to be sat with your helmet on and people, but you've got a little bit of time to be the last person to take it on.
Yeah.
So you follow as it sort of fades and moves, and as you virtually sort of look outside and see where it's going, you see it is actually moving off. It sort of fades into the ground, but you can see the shadow of it. It's sort of fiery presence go out of the church and go sort of deeper into the suburbs, and is going around alleyways and so on. And there's somewhere where it maybe lives outside of the church that you can see from there.
Okay.
William takes his helmet off just because that was amazing. Oh my God.
Jimmy comes up to you, says, "Pretty good, huh?"
Wow. Just wow. If you have to stay another night, just wait and see what else you'll see. Truly enough to make you believe, isn't it?
Yeah, sure, Jimmy.
Yeah. So
you were saying somebody might be renting a room or something?
Jimmy says, "Oh yeah, sure. There's a house a couple of blocks down that's been abandoned, but we were fixing up. You guys are welcome to stay there for the night.
Oh, cool.
And there might even be some like tinned food in you could get." Although he sort of looks you up and down, maybe notices a little ketchup stain on William's sweater. Says, "Oh, you went to the burger joint though, yeah? It's best burgers in Littleville, isn't it?" But yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you the way from it. And he takes you to this sort of half done up abandoned house that's on a street. There's not really any power here, but he's put in like some. He's tidied it up and so on, and there's mattresses on the floor, and so it says you guys can stay here. We sometimes get travellers, and it's always a bit awkward if they have to stop. So by all means, stop here.
Oh, so.
Right.
Do you often have travelers passing by?
Every so often. It's just a bit embarrassing when people come, people join the congregation, there's nowhere for them to sleep. Like, if you stay longer, we could, well, anyway.
Does it happen often when people are staying for longer and joining the congregation?
Sometimes.
I can tell my friends here are really impressed with the sermon.
Yeah.
Right,
I was
guys?
gonna say you didn't put that helmet on, did you?
I'm trying to, limit my time on the electric state, and I've been a bit today, but maybe tomorrow will be the day.
Yeah, definitely tomorrow. I mean, your friends wait till they tell you what they saw. It's quite something.
Can't wait.
And he sort of bids you farewell and leaves you in this old abandoned house. And at that point, that's probably a good place to take a break for us. So we'll see you back in 5. We're going to take 10 minutes, just charge our glasses and get refreshed. We'll edit it down, so it'll just be a few seconds for you viewers at home. But we'll see you in a few. Welcome back. Our travelers in the electric state have found themselves a lovely, welcoming community, congregation, no less. Been to church. 3 of them have seen what appears to be an angel. Francis, the only remaining skeptic. Well, the others are probably still quite skeptical too. And they've got a place to stay for the night as well. A lovely little abandoned house that looks, as far as they know, really safe and welcoming. I'm assuming, guys, you're just going to tuck up warm and go to sleep and have a nice rest before the morning. Is that the case?
Well, it would be. But so when we get back around the table, and I've still got my burger box, dessert box that I get out that's got 24 cookies in or whatever. The smallest one is that we could get at an American diner. All the size of plates. So right, okay, everybody. When I don't know whether you all noticed, but there was a thing.
Yeah.
And
I haven't noticed. Would you care to share?
I just saw the big angel. There was a huge angel, which is really impressive.
Yeah, but was it an angel? Yeah, well, we saw this like angel standing beside the pastor, Francis, and yeah, it felt off.
Well, are they using pre-programmed angels for their sermons? It's innovative,
it's not that.
But
like,
what do you mean not that?
I don't know. I've heard of these things, like viruses that get in this state and like develop intelligence. Kind of fitted that description a little bit. I mean, it looked proper biblical angel with all the multiple eyes and the wings and everything, all that jazz. It was kind of horrific.
Yeah, and it lives around here. I hung around. I don't know whether you guys probably left more or less straight away, but I thought it's somewhere in the town. We could probably track it down and find out where it's based. But I'm willing to bet, $10 that it's the cause of those lights going out and our car losing battery. If we're going to get out of here, we're going to need to put some kind of stop to it or limit to its power. Otherwise, we're never going to get charged if we get out of here. And I really don't like the sound of this. Like, tomorrow we really need to come and see. Wait till you see what happens then. That doesn't sound good for us.
No, it does not. But do you think it drains power from around?
Yeah,
it could. If it's attached to the grid somehow, which it is, then
literally, as you say that, you haven't really got power here. They haven't got power here at all. You notice that the street lamps that have been on just in your street just go off momentarily. And as you sort of pause and note that, you can just hear some sort of distant, heavy thuds. So something sort of rhythmic, fairly distant street.
Almost as if some giant creature was plodding towards us.
Well, they're not getting louder particularly.
Oh, okay, good.
Just plodding around generally.
Can I try to use my little pocket flashlight? Does that work?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
I want to go in. I want to go back in to the electric
Back in.
state and have a look.
Yeah, I'll come with you. I don't think William should go back in.
No, William, like, I'm
We'll
not being
be on
funny or
guard.
anything, but
I'll eat this donut. It's okay.
you've been drinking the Kool-Aid, so yeah.
I'll eat this donut and drink my super slurp.
Like, Francis, you've got our back, right? You'll look after us. You'll look after our meat bodies while we're off drifting.
Of course I
Yeah.
will.
And I sort of like whisper in Francis' ear, like, just make sure Willie doesn't like wander off and like go back to the church or anything. Just worry about him.
Oh, gee. I wouldn't think of that without you. Well, looking after the two of you.
Thanks.
And
Appreciate it. Slaps you on the
nodding
back.
and smiling as well. Like,
yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
you do know we've established a rule. If William is going out somewhere, I'm going with him. Walking in two, at least.
don't let him go out, is what we're saying.
And
He's
Yeah,
not
like,
allowed
just-
out after dark.
Okay.
Curfew.
Distracting with donuts and super slurps.
Okay. You put your Neurocasters on and go in, Pascal and Cade. And I'm assuming, Pascal, you're trying to find where you tracked before. Is that?
Yeah, I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of like flow of energy towards a focal point or something like that, or like avoiding where there's an absence of it and looking where there's more concentrations and that kind of thing. So doing a kind of pattern grid search of the town to work out where the locus is, where all the attention is.
Yeah. So I'm going to get you to do a sort of hacking the network check for that, because what's at stake, you're going to find what you're looking for, but it's whether you find it. It's whether you find it without it noticing you, basically, is the thing. As you approach it. So
Can I give an assistant somewhere for him?
yeah, you can help by looking at that. I'll give Gaz an extra dice. It's going to be wits plus network. You've just got a jury rig Neurocaster, I think, Gaz. I mean, there isn't one on your character sheet, so we'll assume you have got one, but it's jury rigged. So that's an extra dice, and Cade's help will be an extra dice as well on your wits.
I'm struggling at first. I think I might try and push this.
Yeah, so you get a point of bliss straight away for failing it.
Yeah.
And you'll reroll. You don't reroll the ones.
Yeah, so I'm re-rolling 6 dice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sort of like, it's a bit of a cat and mouse situation where I feel I'm getting closer, but I feel like I'm being traced as well, so I have to keep dodging about. So I'll redouble my efforts and still not get any successes on 14 dice.
Yeah.
Roll 20.
Great. I think, let me just check my rules. You might be losing some hope there.
Yeah, I am, like, metaphorically, but
Literally as well.
So
yeah.
I think all the ones count. So I think you're losing 4 points of hope, which I think probably...
I've got a rules question for you.
Yeah, there's a follow-up question for that, isn't there?
Yeah, if you don't have any hope left.
What happens there? I'm going to just turn to the page because you have a breakdown. We'll just see.
Sounds bad for the home team.
Happens.
And does this affect the person that helped me on the roll as well?
I think, well, they don't have, the failure is going to affect them because they helped you, so they're in the stakes from it. Luckily, the number of points of hope you've lost isn't going to affect them from there. You're going to not be able to bring yourself to continue any further. You may talk, move, and flee the scene, but you cannot roll for any attributes. So you basically can't roll any dice. So you can't do anything that would trigger a dice roll. I think how we'll play this. And when you're having a breakdown, someone can rally you. That's where Cade probably comes in, to be honest. So you are looking around the streets for where you're trying to work out where this thing is. And at first you're not sure. You have to sort of redouble your efforts. You find yourself like tracking in the virtual landscape, this bright lights. It's night, but it's still bright light. And eventually you happen upon a big sort of expanse up to the north of the map, where this is where the thuds are coming from, but all you can see is the same angel, except this time it's like 20 feet tall. Around it, you can see there's the congregation as well are there in the scape as well. As you sort of stop, because you literally round the corner, you two, and it's there, it just turns towards you, and you see its eyes on its wings just look straight at you and blink 3 times, and you are at that point, that's where you break. How do you react, Pascal?
I fall to my knees probably and clasp my hands as if in prayer, and just be like staring up and down at this rapturous moment.
Kay, do you notice this?
Yeah.
Pascal's gone. What?
I'm trying to sort of shake him out of it initially, like getting nothing. And so, I'm assuming in this virtual reality, I can basically pull items out of a hat effectively.
Yeah.
So I reach into a pocket and pull out a full-size guitar and start to like play his favorite song, "Fall Through Night," and like singing at him to like bring him round.
Excellent.
We've like sung it in the back of the car before now on the way.
Those notes have got to actually become real, haven't they? As well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
over.
All that.
Floats over. I'm gonna ask you to make an empathy roll.
Cool.
Because that's how you bring someone out. I'll give you 2 dice for your guitar as well.
Excellent. So that is 8 dice.
Yeah, it's too many. You're not going to roll any successes now.
That's what happened last time. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me.
2
successes. Nice. Excellent. So, Pascal, you begin to be dragged back in to reality by this song. You recover with 2 hope is what happens. Would you like to roll, though, a D66, because you will suffer some sort of trauma from this as well?
My earphones just cut out, so I can roll what, sorry?
A D66 or 2D6, and we'll read them as a D66.
Sure.
That is 36. So 11 to 36 on the table is no trauma. So you just managed to get away from it. But you are there. And at that point, you've sort of got to leave the scene. Some of the congregation maybe heard the music and are looking around and seem a little bit unsure. But this huge angel turns back to them and begins sort of walking back off. And you can like drag one another back to where you are. Meanwhile, back at the house, there's somebody moving about Francis and William in the garden.
Can I ask, while we're here and Pascal and Cade out in the electric state, what's going on with them? Do we not see any of that? Because they're just purely sat there?
They're just sat there.
Right, okay.
You were casting. You don't see that from that. Obviously, as audience, you see it, but you don't see anything from there. There's someone in your garden. Moving around, trying to sort of peer in.
Wow,
you both
it's
sort
really
of
convenient that we do not have light inside. They don't see shit.
There is obviously a little red glow from the 2 neurocasters that are being used.
But otherwise, I'll whisper to you that, William, I'll try to sneakily get out and watch the Watcher.
What do you want me to do, Francis?
Keep an eye on our friends and in 5 minutes exactly, make some noise in here, just walk around the kitchen,
okay.
Pretend you're attending to some business or something. And so I'm hoping that whoever is outside would be trying to look what's going in, especially since William is making some noise. And I want to sneak out and have a look who's
Excellent.
there.
Do you want to make me an agility roll to see if you manage to sneak out and get the drop on this person? It's actually might be an opposed agility roll, so I will make a wits
Ooh.
roll for this person to notice you. And get no successes. So
I have 1 success.
yeah, you can see there is there's a man who's trying to peer through the window. You can see he's wearing sort of camo trousers. He's got like a worn out like bulletproof vest on. You can see he's got 2 handguns visibly on display, and he's just like peering in and sort of muttering to himself a little bit wildly. Big beard, you can make out in the dark, but he's saying, what doing? Oh, no, it's more of them. It's more of them. More of them. What do you do? He's not seen you for now.
I want to sneak up on him, and preferably I've got my combat knife on me to sort of come from the back, threaten him with the knife, and order him to be quiet and drag him in.
Okay, we'll let you do that with the roll. You beat him on the thing.
Okay, cool.
He
be real smart and quiet here.
He says, "You'll never.
You don't want to get me disappointed.
You'll never take me. You'll never take me to that thing. You'll never take me to that thing." And he like spits on the ground as you pull him.
I want to drag him in the house.
Yeah, you managed to get. You can
and close the doors and like, William, get some rope.
This is what? No, I'm not being that. What? No, I'm not being one of your sacrifices.
Sacrifices?
You are going to tell us what the hell is happening in this shit town.
No, I'm not going to church. I'm not one of them. I saw you coming out. He's going that, and he's going to lunge for. In fact, yeah, he's going to lunge for Cade.
I'll try to interfere.
Go for it. Well, let's have a little opposed strength check. So he tries
strength.
To get. Yeah. Oh, not looking great for him though.
We'll see if I'm doing any better. Yay, look at me. I'm on
you
fire.
Intercept him, get him down, get a knife in his throat. He's like, I'm not doing it. You'll never take me alive. I've been through worse than this. You are going to
tell us everything that is going on in this town. We've been to this freaky church, all of these weird people. What is happening? Everybody's talking
really
about some
now.
angel.
William's like, don't mess with Francis. Francis will mess you up.
It's no angel. It's no angel. It's a thing.
Tell us about the thing, and tell us about the sacrifices.
You went. You're in the church. You're with the church, aren't you?
We're from out of town, mate. We're not from here.
Our car broke, and everybody told us we should visit the church, so we visited the church.
He says, "There's a thing there. There's a thing in the Neuroscape that takes us away."
Yes.
Sorry.
People disappear. They join the church or they vanish. They'll never get to me. They'll never get to me. Don't let them get to you either. If they see me here, they'll kill me. As he starts like looking around again, wild eyes.
William's going to kneel down and kind of play on the young, impressionable kid and try and use his empathy to try and calm him down and try and make him more protective of William. You know what I mean? Try and see that we actually need his help a bit, maybe.
Go for it. Maybe an empathy roll.
Good and bad cop.
Yeah.
Empathy. I've got 6.
Bad cop, good kid.
Yeah. Good kid.
2 successes.
Very believable.
He goes, it can't happen to a kid like you. Whole life ahead of you. And he sort of calms down a bit. He says, look, people come, they go to the church. They either join the congregation or they go. There's something out there. I don't know what it is. I keep to myself. No one's going to make me leave my town, but I'm not going to go there either. You can't trust any of them in the church. None of us can leave.
Trusting. What's your name, mate?
Doug.
Listen, Doug.
This used to be a nice town, but then Father Marcos, suddenly the church got really popular.
Is he a newcomer?
Start preaching about angels, about the angel in the machine. And suddenly everyone starts going to church. People used to know never been before, but now they go every night. So they see
Angel in a
angels.
machine. In which machine?
I don't know, it's nonsense, but people disappear. That's real. You've got to stop it. He like reaches out to you. To Willie, you've got to stop it, kid.
Okay.
Keep your voice down. We will stop it, but we've got to know how.
I don't know. When you see it, it walks the streets. It walks the streets at night.
What, physically, not in the electric state? Physically, it walks the streets.
It walks the streets at night.
Okay.
You don't want to see it. And that's probably the point where Cade and Pascal, you like dragged back. How does that arrival look? Just as you've calmed down one person.
I think I'm out first.
Yeah.
And I help Pascal off with his and sort of you all right? You okay? Like got him by his shoulders. Everything okay?
But Pascal comes out as it's ripped off like a man, the drowning man who's been saved, and someone's pulled his diving helmet off, and he's gasping for air and looking around wild-eyed, grabbing at people, going, "Oh, the demon! It nearly happened. The demon nearly sucked me in. Oh God!"
Yeah, that was freakish. It was huge.
So you found it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the map in there resembles the map out here, but to the north a little bit, there was a sort of an open area, and this angel thing that we saw at the church was huge,
Blasted
20 feet tall, massive.
Blasted my mind.
Guys, this is Doug. Just don't panic. Don't panic.
Doug. He's like, he's got his hands, his guns already.
Don't panic.
Backing away.
Doug says that whatever this thing is, it's got physical form. It's not just in there.
Whoa, what?
And that people are disappearing.
This is
you just hear echoing again, just the thud of footsteps.
That's cool.
Let's not.
I'll look round for a glass of water that's on the table to see if they've got the ripples going through it.
Yeah. Shaking, yeah.
Doug, have you seen this thing?
Just in
Cade, by the way.
It's huge. It's huge. 20 feet tall.
Can you take us to it? Can we see it?
You can hear it now.
Yeah, I can.
Come on. And he sort of starts to, but I'll do it. And he sort of leads you out among the streets as you go closer to this thing. And I think you're able to see, just in the light of the Neurocasters that people are wearing, a creature a little bit like the image that's just been put up. It's made of junk. It's made of junk that's been piled together into some sort of 20-foot tall physical creature. You can see bits of houses, bits of random bits of metal. There's certainly bits of old cars on it. There's a really shiny fender that's just been put on one of the legs that looks remarkably like the front fender of your Buick, actually.
It's got a number plate on it.
And all stood around it. There's a congregation who are all wired directly into it. You can see the wires coming from the Neurocasters. The only light here, all the street lamps are up, all the houses around, all the electricity around here is dead. The only light is the red flashing of the Neurocasters around it. There must be like 20 people here cast into it. And Doug just holds up and says, that's it. You've seen it now.
Is that the whole town?
Most of the congregation.
Have you tried to unplug someone? What happens?
I mean, he's like, feel free.
Do you know where it is in other times? Does it have a layer or something? Rests?
It's somewhere around the north, but there's an old warehouse there where it sort of
it shouldn't be
flattens itself out. He says, look, I'll help you as much as I can, but we can't go after it like this with everyone.
No.
You call me, points out his house on the street and says, you call me when you need me. I'll help in any way that I can, but you just don't trust anyone. Don't go anywhere with it. Any sort of mates to leave.
I'll walk with him to the house he mentioned.
Yeah.
And I sort of just want to make sure that this is actually his house and not just random house.
Yeah, I mean, his house is very much like it's been fortified. There's like all the windows have got bars on them. It's a prepper's house. You know, it's clearly decided to stay put and put everything on it. There's locks. It doesn't.
I actually approve. I like this guy.
He says, "I'm not leaving this town."
Yeah, right, man.
You guys want to? And probably at that point we can cut back to everyone back in your thing with a bit of a plan. It's sort of midnight now. We could get out the sleep deprivation rules at some point if we want. But they do exist. Have a bit of a think about what the next stage is and what you found out from here.
Is our plan
I'll suggest. Sorry, I'll suggest that we sleep in one room, and I'll make some simple alarms like empty jars hanging on some sort of little ropes or something. So in case somebody is coming in, we can hear it, the jars jangling, because we all need to have some sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm not trusting this town.
So it looks like they dismantled our car as well now then.
It looks a lot like your Fender. You didn't see any of the bits of it. Maybe they just started.
We can check out in the morning. Let's get some sleep for now.
How do we kill it? How do we destroy it? How do we disassemble it?
We find its lair and we burn it with fire.
Good idea.
What Francis said. Doug was saying something about it goes to a warehouse during the day or something, but he didn't actually tell us where it was.
North.
North.
It's a small town. There can't be many large warehouses in the north, surely. We can go look at it.
We should get some gasoline and some big axes, stuff like that.
So in the spirit of
chop it in smaller parts.
In the spirit of Free League's other great game, Vason, the question you just asked, guys, how do we kill it, is probably something that you guys could make a wits check to try and figure out how you might deal with an intelligence from here, because you guys recognized what it was. You can try and sort of search. Well, you can try and sort of search the Neuroscape for any clues as to what to do with it. Yeah. Google big demon from the from the Neuroscape. How do you feel it? Or you can just sort of rack your brains to any stories that you want. So if you want to make a wits check, or somebody wanted to make a wits check, you could.
Yeah.
How does it work? Can we all roll, or does one of us roll for
one person? Other people can help. Up to 3 people can help, which is handy for you guys.
Yeah, I'll help out.
Each giving a dice.
I'll help too.
Yeah, we will all help. Whoever's going to do the roll.
You go Google in which joints we have to chop down to make it weaker.
Yeah.
We're all making suggestions how to parse the search string.
Yeah.
If you'd all just show up a minute, I can do this.
Yeah. Excellent. So you have heard of such things. The kind of thing that sounds like an intercerebral intelligence. They are things that popped up sort of randomly after update 6 in the Neuroscape, and have a sort of basic level of intellect. Because this thing is inhabiting something in the physical world as well, the way to defeat it really is you have to defeat both bits, really. You have to defeat it in the Neuroscape, and you also have to destroy its physical body, and you probably need to do those like at the same time. And then it might replicate itself and get it somewhere else off of the Neuroscape, but you could deal with it there and then and get it off this sort of local network from where it is.
Okay.
So cut to scratch paper out, formulating a plan, maybe. What are you guys thinking? In the spirit of games like this, of course, you've got a means to do it. There's lots of ways you can go about this, and I'm not going to be the kind of GM that goes, oh, well, you went in the second door to the warehouse instead of the first, so unfortunately you've not been successful. A reasonable plan, and then we'll see how successful we are, is how we'll roll with this.
Well, we seem to have already split into the virtual guys and the physical folk.
The meat space guys.
And we can recruit Doug.
Yeah, and you can recruit Doug, yeah. And I like setting on fire.
I like the idea of finding the warehouse, burning warehouse down.
Not sure how we're going to tackle it in the virtual, but we'll figure that out. Any thoughts, Pascal?
Yeah, this is it's a great book, and I've got like a big rucksack full of books, and I pull out Lord of the Rings for you. And so we're very much going to be in front of the gate, attracting the eye of Sauron, while these guys are Frodo and Sam climbing up Mount Doom. Mount Doom being the warehouse, but I assume I don't have to explain my noddy to you. And then I'll go into like great detail about how we're going to fly.
You see Kate's eyes are glazing over as you're doing that.
It's this big, so we're going to fly on eagles when we get into the virtual space and blah, 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 blah.
All our papers, just you drawing pictures of what's about to happen.
Just a picture of Middle Earth on the map. That's it.
That's right. We're going to get it. It's got lots of eyes. We're going to get it to look into one of the Palantir, and we'll draw its attention in.
So yeah, you can create your virtual avatars, can go and fight this fiery angel. That certainly can happen. The one thing I'd say is that combat in the New Escape runs quite a high risk if you're getting quite a bit of bliss. And a reminder that if your bliss goes up to your hope or above it, Gaz, you've got a hope of 2 now, I think. You can't voluntarily.
And I've got 1 bliss.
You can't voluntarily leave. You're trapped in there. Obviously, people can pull you out, but you can't do it. You can still go in. If your bliss is above, you can still go in. You just won't be able to leave of your own accord.
Mm-hmm.
Just be on it from there. So that sounds like the virtual plan. The physical plan, what does that sound like?
We need to find, so Doug can hopefully show us. He said he knows where it kind of its lair is during the day, and he said something about it lying down or resting or something. I can't remember what the exact phrase was.
He flattens himself and spreads.
Flattens him, yeah, something like that.
And have you seen there were like parts of buildings and cars on it?
So we need to work out a way of destroying that. So it's whether we need to get Doug to help us find some accelerant and fuel stuff like that, and burn that warehouse.
We could during the day scout out and try to get some fuel or something. Probably that can help. I figure in the evening he's busy in the church, so that might be a good time to attack his physical thing. No,
well, he wasn't physically in the church, was he? I don't think, was he? So
I did not hear anything moving around the church. I was not in the electric state.
Yeah. Hopefully it's his physical form isn't at the church, because if it is, we might run into trouble then.
We could attack at the church virtually. We could go and join the congregation again.
Mm-hmm.
Won't congregation try to attack you instead?
It's just a dramatic finale, though, isn't it?
All of its followers there.
Yeah, but we know I'll be there for sure at that point.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in the church, though. You can...
True.
Plug in somewhere from outside, no? And prepare yourself?
Yeah, we could plug in from the house. Or from Doug's place, if he said it was secure.
Yeah, it looks really well reinforced. And nobody would
scared of
expect
this thing, you might not have a Eurojack port.
Can we ask Doug whether the physical form goes to the church at night, or whether it's just the...
I think we can try and move like in the morning to Doug's place. Like really sneaky, also looking around so that none of the congregation sees us going there, and maybe plan together with him in his kitchen so he can maybe draw us a little map of where is the warehouse, how far it is from the church.
I mean, for sort of simplicity, let's say you know where the warehouse is. That seems, because that's going to be a really easy. He could have shown you where it is. He sketched you a map of where it is, so you know sort of where it is in the daytime. You don't know where its physical form is at the daytime, but you know that its virtual form was in the church with all the congregation. So you attacking it, you'll have to be in the New Escape in the church with the 20 people, 30 people that are there. That's the only thing from where it is. And to defeat it, you probably need to do it all at the same time. So it needs to be all one thing.
No, we know when we probably know when the congregation is meeting as well, so that's a good timer.
Yeah.
Assuming they're meeting at the same time. each day, which is likely because church.
I'll ask Doug if he by any chance knows when this creature is like flattens itself. Is it actually like asleep or is it conscious?
So Doug is back at his house now as well. So it's just the four of you. I was saying let's have Doug have showed you where it is anyway from there.
So we know where it is and we know when it's flattened, recharging, or whatever it is, kind of thing. And do we think it projects itself to the church in the neuroscape?
Yeah,
but doesn't go there physically. That's what we think now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that means we can attack it in the warehouse while you're attacking it in the church at the same time, right? Okay, just to get that clear.
Yep.
Okay, how about we go and make a little recce? Just have a look what it looks like when he is in there, and also bring some gasoline.
Yes.
So the first batch to have it handy nearby.
The best time to do it is when they're getting ready to go to church.
Yeah.
So all the townsfolk are going to be at the church. And it's going to be groggy and waking up, and that's when we should get it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but just to have a look before. We're not gonna attack it now. Just to have a look at what we're having.
Yeah, so I think the way we'll do this is you've sort of got a day to sneak around and try and prepare for this before the evening. So I think how we'll do it is you've basically got a dice roll each to try and get yourself some benefits, and each success will be a bonus dice that you can use in your sort of pool for the confrontation. You do know that before the, if assuming what Doug said is right, and it is, it's flattened out, it's not awake. Obviously, it's not completely helpless though, and will potentially start to awaken, and you're going to have to do those first things. So as we sort of montage through the day, as we get to the actual scene from it, if we just go around and say what your one thing is you're trying to do, and then we'll pass that into a roll and see if we get some bonus dice from it. Maybe starting with, we'll just go around in the order that you sort of on the screen. So John, what's William's sort of plan going to be?
I think William and Francis have got a plan of trying to get fuel to burn this thing, aren't we? Yeah. So William is going to attempt to sneak in and place things at strategic points, around the warehouse, and lay means of setting fire to these things. Like fuel soaked rags, that kind of thing, so that we can light it from outside. That's his plan, to kind of move around and do that kind of thing.
Excellent. That sounds like an agility test to try and lay these things.
Okay, I will do my best. Do you want to roll that now?
Yeah, roll it now. We'll see.
Okay. 2 successes.
Oh, fantastic. Yay. So we've got 2 bonus dice in sort of traps and accelerants, basically, that are laid around it. Tasha, what's Francis doing if we do the physical prep first?
I'll try to spot, obviously I'll help with the fuel, but I'll try to spot the best places, which I think, like I said before, the joints, some parts of the creature which I think would be most beneficial to destroy first, and I try to crumble as close to them as possible, and I try to deliver some canisters with gasoline really close to this like weak spots, or what I believe to be some.
So that's going to be a wits check, I think.
Wits? Oh no. Okay.
This thing is just a big pile of junk in the warehouse. It's just laid down there from there, but you can sort of work out which bits were its legs when it was stood up.
I should have asked William.
Go ahead.
It's 0 successes, but I want to push.
Go for it.
Can I push?
Yeah. You need to roll 2 more dice. The 1 stays where it is.
I have 1 success now.
You get 1 success as weaknesses. You're going to lose a point of hope, though, as you have to. I think as you're there's a point where you're sort of trying to push these canisters in, where you put one in, and just a sort of a part of it, that maybe a headlight from a car just blinks on, and it's like an eye opening straight at you, and you sort of, it shakes you a little bit, and you have to sort of.
I'm freezing there, and all of the Pascal's talk about Eye of a Sauron, like immediately going through my head.
Definitely. Pascal, what are you doing to prepare for this?
Presumably it's still an interconnected world, so although we're trapped here and yet, I'm off in my avatar form of a book where I'm like a bit like Gandalf with a big pipe, going to medieval taverns and stuff and libraries, which is the virtual equivalent of some nerds sat there. So I'm going to gather knowledge because we know what it is now. And we definitely show that other people have encountered it and slain such a beast. So I'm going to be gathering information from all of the nerds on the internet about what we can do to disassemble it.
Excellent. So you'll get you'll get your processor bonus of +1 there. This is a roll in the Neuroscape, though, so you might get some bliss. You might be staying in the Neuroscape for the whole.
It's quite nice in here, actually.
It's almost as if it is nicer here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wits +1 for that.
I get a success.
Excellent. So you don't get a point of bliss because you actually made it. So you get some advice through it of what you can do in terms of attacking it. You can attacking it in its own sort of form should work. So your avatar has to like get a big sword and hit it. Is what should work from that. And finally, Ian, what's Cade doing to prepare?
I think Cade's going to dive into the Neuroscape near the church and sort of like look around the area, maybe like sort of look for sort of escape routes, see if he can like sort of lock the virtual doors behind the congregation, that kind of thing. Like, sort of set up that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you could put in some sort of things to make the neurocasters that they're all going to put on imminently not quite as responsive. Work.
It's a bit of sabotage, basically, is what I'm looking for.
Sounds like hacking the network, which means you're going to get 2 extra dice from your Johnny Jolt Neurocaster.
Cool. Wits, is it?
Wits +2.
Cool. 1 success.
Yeah. Fantastic. So we've got a church area locked. So in terms of bonus dice for the first sort of action here, we've got 2 dice for accelerants, which William put in, a dice that Francis had for weaknesses. Pascal's got a sort of dice for lore. Angel lore from the taverns, and Cade's got a church area network dice from here. So after we've montaged that, let's smash cut to where we are. I think we've got Francis and William physically around the warehouse. You've seen as you've been setting it that this thing, although it is just a pile of junk, there are occasional movements like lights flick on and stuff. It's not completely helpless here. And the street lights and there's blazing electric light all around it for now. So it's going to be there. Meanwhile, in the sort of Neuroscape, as the angel is assembling at the church, but there's not there, we see Pascal and Cade making their way to do battle with it there. Where's the first attack happening? Real space or Neuroscape?
I think
I think the plan was to distract Neuroscape, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, propose for the group that we get its attention in the Neuroscape so that it's not concentrating on the real world. Excellent.
So the way initiative works is if it's obvious, it just works as you'd expect. So you're going to get the first actions, your characters, and then it's going to get a go to respond to it. Pascal, are you leading the charge? This angel is sort of appearing. It's making its way towards the church. It is it's not 20 feet tall in the virtual world at this point. It's just sort of normal sized, like 8 feet tall, like it was before. But fiery. You notice it has got a fiery sword that it looks like it knows how to use as well. So, what do we see in the Neuroscape as you attack it?
Yeah, well, Pascal's gone deep in now. He might be staying here, so he's making the most of it. So he's kind of a Gandalf the White figure with his staff with a beacon on the end of it, on Shadowfax with a horde coming behind him over the hill, but it's all him. So there's like hundreds of Pascals dressed as a wizard with a staff coming charging towards this thing. One for each of its eyes and another one as well, just to try to overwhelm it. Each one of the Pascals is going to blind one of the angel's eyes. That's what he tends to do anyway.
Excellent. The only thing about attacking angels with lots of eyes is that they're quite hard to sneak up on. So as you rush towards it, the flaming sword gets hefted. How this works is when you're attacked in melee or in Neuroscape melee, you can choose to fight back in close combat, which turns it into an opposed roll, basically. The good news for you guys is that this thing gets to act like you would as well, once in the Neuroscape or once in the real world. But it is choosing, as it doesn't know what's happening in the real world, to fight back with you now. So you're going to roll your wits plus your 1 for your graphics to attack it. And it's going to roll its wits to try and defend. And this will be a opposed check.
Just 1 for me.
From that. 1. So as you charge at it, it does manage. The flaming sword comes up and it's just parrying everything. The noise comes out of its mouth. Again, the sort of tongues talking from there. And Cade, you're there as well as it's fighting off Pascal.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Cade once more pulls out a guitar. So this like it's electric guitar, and like a bunch of like sort of like gigantic sort of speakers appear behind him, and all of Cade's attacks effectively are musical based. So he's playing Thunderstruck from AC/DC, and like summoning lightning storms above to strike it from above.
Excellent. You get 3 extra dice because your gaming Neurocaster has really good graphics, so you get to do it. But the bad news is you can fight back against multiple opponents, so he is going to fight back against you.
Cool.
Well.
So it's wits,
wits plus 3.
Cool. 2 successes.
0. So, it is.
The power of music.
Yeah, the power of music sends it winging, and it is pushed backwards. You can see it responding from there. And back in the warehouse, we cut there, we see there's some whirring. Some of the lights outside begin to dim as if it's noticing something is amiss. It's not acting in the real world, though. So if you want to attack it, you can just make a roll and go straight to damage it. William, what are you up to now?
Well, I guess it's what have we and Francis planned here? Are we lighting the fuses effectively? I guess, aren't we? Is that the plan now?
Yeah, I think we're trying to do it simultaneously because there are several entrances to the warehouse, and we position ourselves from like opposite sides.
We're not running around, So
it's not reacting to you, so you can both just roll simultaneously. From that, remember, John, you've got 2 extra dice, and I think Tasha, you've got 1. Probably setting off explosives is probably agility, actually. I would think, because it's not physical, so sort of range combat would be agility.
Just kind of running around.
This is what happens when you don't have skills. Yes, it doesn't feel like it should be wits again. Basically.
Okay, so I've got agility 6 plus 2 dice. So I've got 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no!
Can I push my roll?
You can. Yeah. Leave the one there. Leave the ones there, and reroll the others.
So I've got 6 dice to push the roll, haven't I? Then.
I'll have 6 now too.
Yeah.
I wonder. I think. While we're moving around, I realized that I've positioned one of the canisters not in a strategic point because this thing, it sleeps, it moves, like a dog moves its leg. I was like, I should have put it in a different spot. So I'm quickly relocating it and trying to.
With the fuse ticking down as well. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. What can go wrong?
Carrying it back in.
I've got 1 success.
So
2 successes, right? The bad news is it has got armor, which will kick in here, but it doesn't get any successes from that. Okay, you're losing some hope. I hope you're tracking it. By my calculations, Tasha, you're losing 2 hope because you've got 2 1s in total there. And John, you're losing 2 as well.
Yeah.
From there. Nobody's had a breakdown yet. We okay?
I'm down to 0 hope.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on hope 2 now.
That is going to be a point where you indeed have a breakdown. I think probably it's carrying that thing back in. As you do it, the eye, it's the mirror image of what happened to Pascal before. The light lights up and puts you in a spotlight as you drop this, and there's the explosion, and the thing begins to stand up. You are stunned looking at it. William, obviously, you realize this. Francis is frozen, and this thing is beginning to bear down upon her. Your chances to rally her, basically.
That's what William will do, because William will attempt to, because William's been looking up to Francis. It's kind of like, as a parental figure throughout all of this, really, because he thinks his uncle was in the army, that kind of thing as well. So he sees that army thing there as well. So he's gonna Francis, no, kind of like run in and try and.
So to be clear, this is round 2. The thing used its action to fight back. So this is round 2. William's action first is to rally. You need to roll an empathy to try and rally Francis.
Okay. I will attempt to rally Francis. I get 2 successes.
Brilliant. You're back up to 2 hope as the open heart of the child manages to get you. And I think that means you can act straight away as well. So you are momentarily back in the room. This thing is moving. You think it might be moving in the physical world now. But you get to act, Francis, if you want now. Or we can cut back to you.
Of course, I want. Is the fire like starting on some bits and pieces around it?
Yeah, it's beginning to, like, some of them have set off. You could go and set some more off and attack it again with agility. I think there's probably still more explosives and things that you could use, but this thing is now standing up and making to.
Well, since there is some fire catching up already, I would try to grab some canister and throw it to the place where there is fire already, trying to cause an explosion.
Excellent. Make me an agility roll.
Are there any bonuses this time?
I'll give you 1 for the canister. It feels a little bit improvised, given that you're throwing it at it, but yeah, you could normally get a gear from that.
I've got 1 success.
Excellent. Let's just roll its armor. See if it gets anything from there. Did it? Oh, its armor's down to 5 now. Another 1. No, 1 success. It is looking to be quite. Bits of it are falling off. The bright fender of your Buick drops on the floor and bounces around.
We'll need that later.
And similarly, in the virtual world, it is turning around and doing it. You can see some of the congregation. You just see the shadowy shapes of them beginning to arrive, and a bit of a thing in the air as its voice can maybe be heard through the neuroscape from it. Pascal, though. What are you doing?
So all the Pascals have turned round to say it's working, as the music's pushing it back, and I'm keeping its attention. And we're like, imagine what's happening in the real world. They must be really screwing it up when there's all this tension is focused on us. Yeah. So as we imagine, that's definitely happened. The Pascals are going to join in the song now. Except obviously I'll be singing in Sindarin or some Elvish tongue.
Klingon or something.
Kabla.
We'll do Klingon opera next.
Excellent. Yeah, roll your wits plus empathy. The entity is not going to fight back in the virtual world because it's going to take a physical action after you've all been.
I mean, how could it fight back against our musical prowess?
Well, exactly. Yeah,
it's amazed.
Yeah.
I like that you've moved on to Highway to Hell by now.
I've got another idea with the choir, actually.
Okay. Yeah, so it's sort of staggered to one side. It looks to be you are beating it back from it. It doesn't look to be well as this damage goes straight to its health from there. And finally, Cade.
So I'm leading the Pascals in a fantastic rendition of Pink Floyd's "Another Brick in the Wall" to make a brick wall around it.
Fantastic. I like it. Go for the roll. You get +3, don't you, for this?
Yeah, so 7 again. 1 success.
Just enough. So you are going to manage to defeat it. Do you want to just describe how in the virtual world this defeat comes, what it looks like as it's defeated by the power of music?
So we've got the lightning strikes from above still hitting it from my initial rendition, and now the Pascals and I'm being sort of lifted up on stage by the Pascals, like absolutely riffing on Pink Floyd's "Another Brick in the Wall." This thing has been bricked in, but the bricks are metal, And as the lightning come down, it sort of like conducts right through it and around it and into it, like just sort of focuses the lightning into the middle of this thing.
Fantastic. And you get to do it. And back in the physical world, it doesn't even get to take its action from that. As you see it begin to collapse as it's been attacked in both ends, that it now begins to fall on the explosions and stuff that you're doing. You guys sort of have to run out of it. Tasha, do you want to just roll as a D66, just because you just recovered from the breakdown, and try and not get higher than 36? 51.
You succeeded in getting higher. Well done.
51 is higher than 36. Let's see.
Quite high.
Oh, that is quite. This is not going to appear just yet, but you are depressed now. Something, it stays in it. What that means is you cannot be rallied by another person when you have a breakdown. So you can't. You do.
I'd better not have a new one.
You'll have to. Yeah. Well, you recover hope after this shift, but you
harsh.
can't be pulled out of that. That's one of the worst ones you could get, actually. Good dice roll.
I have all of the flashbacks from the war with all of the fire and explosions around, and William yelling my name, and I'm sort of back in my memories and in here in reality, thinking I have to protect the kid too.
Yeah, there was a kid just like him back in the war, wasn't there? Yeah.
So young.
Yeah. Oh no. So
I won't let this one slide.
Oh no. And so you drag William out of the burning warehouse, and you have defeated the angel. The congregation, with the exception of Father Marcos, seem to be, we'll just sort of accelerate this bit, seem to be much less like faithful now at the absence of this intercerebral intelligence controlling them. And in fact, many of the power issues in the neighborhood sort of vanish, and you are able to finally get your car mended and escape down the road.
Put the fender back on.
Yeah, put the fender back on. Can we just have a scene with each of you as a little sort of vignette for the end of this, maybe how this stop has changed you as you make your way further away from Littleville, or maybe if there's any unfinished business you take in Littleville before you leave. That maybe is more interesting. So let's go with that second one. So before you set off in the cold light of day in the morning, what do you do around Littleville? Let's go to Pascal first.
Well, he's got he's been working at it in stages. His first way of getting to know people better was having lots of Pascals around him, but he's kind of breaking down that as well steadily. So in his great unfinished novel, he's chatted a bit to Kay, but then he wants to find out what happened in the real world. So he's probably in the burger bar. They've all got shakes and fries and whatever, and he's like avidly scribbling away in a book as the Francis and William tell him what happened, and the near miss with the flames and all that, and he's pressing big flowery language, and he's much more animated and more friendly towards his road companions than he's been previously.
Fantastic. Let's go from there to Francis. What's Francis' action in Littleville before you leave?
Well, actually, I think Francis, now when we're sort of out of danger, and I'll see that everybody is doing some of their things, I will pull out my Neuro helmet, or Neuro thing. Yeah. And we'll actually also try it on for the first time in a couple of days. Because I need this thing to relax, especially after we've been through such traumatic experiences. And in there, I have sort of altered reality game, and you can see that this is some sort of a really well built national park or something. And in there are all sorts of semi-cartoonish, very pretty, cute little animals. You can see like some pandas and elephants, and they're happy. And Francis is sort of building for them the best possible environment, taking care so that they're living in a happily little cartoonish universe. And then you can see that all of the animals have names, and these are the names of people I miss from real life. And I'm creating the new little giraffe and naming him Willie, and making sure that he has the best little spot in this wondrous woods.
Beautiful. Speaking of William, what does William do in Littleville before we
leave? William go to see Doug, and before we leave, and knocks on the door to see Doug, and because he's kind of rummages in his backpack and pulls out a little toy drone that's in the shape of a dinosaur, and says to Doug, "This is TikTok, and I hope you look after him. I think he might keep you safe." And it's kind of like slightly broken, so it doesn't quite work, but it's supposed to kind of like say stuff and that and move, but it doesn't really. But it gives him that. And then as he's heading off back down the road, he gets his little Polaroids out and he starts looking at the photos of his uncle. And there's a couple of photos of him in their army uniform. And the camera kind of zooms in and you can see that one of the badges is the same as what Doug was wearing as well on his uniform. So
fantastic. Love it. Finally, Cade. What does Cade do in Littleville before we set off?
Cade goes to visit Father Marcos and finds him like in the virtual. He's got his Neurocast helmet on, and Cade's got a bit of experience being in there. You know, he's been an addict before, and he shorts the helmet so that the father can't get back out, and walks out the door.
Nice, cool. Just when we were angling towards a sort of happy ending. Nice one, Ian. Excellent.
It is a happy ending for us.
Yeah.
Don't want him doing it again.
So
he can bliss out.
That's the electric state. That's the first stop in the published adventure. Obviously, there's a few tweaks to make it a one shot, and as with all of these, it's a sort of open location with lots of different ways that it played. So if you've played it or you've seen another AP of it being played, please let us know in the comments how it went, if it was different, how it worked out. We're playing with the same pre-gens that are in the core book as well. So be interested if you played any of those, how your characters fitted in with ours, whether they were as successful as we were. Remember, as always, to like and subscribe. We've got lots more games coming up on the channel and lots more free league games as well. You can check out Vaesen, Tales from Loop, all with an exciting cast of players and all in 2 hours or less. So thank you for watching and listening. Thanks to our players for performing and playing for us. And we'll see you very soon on the Electric State.